DeAndre Ayton doesn't look like anything's getting done with the Phoenix Suns. Lo and behold, our Detroit Pistons, Ryan, are popping up as a name of a team that sounds like they're going to go hard for his services.
I hope so. And I fully expect the Pistons to pursue DeAndre Ayton if the Suns don't give him an offer, which it doesn't necessarily sound like is going to happen. And I'm all for it. I'm a huge fan of DeAndre Ayton. I don't think his stock has ever been lower than it has right now because people are really mad about the Suns still losing to the Mavs in the semifinals there. But I think Ayton's a really good player. He's still super young. I think he's only 22 years old. And if we can pair him with Cade Cunningham and then with Shaedon Sharpe or Keegan Murray, whoever we pick number 5, and then Sadiq Bey as well, I think you have a really strong young core there. And to me, he fills everything that I want, next to Cade. He's somebody who can rim run. He can be that pick and roll partner with Cade Cunningham, and he's pretty good defensively too. So I am all for DeAndre Ayton. I know there are people who are not because of this year. And, last year in the Western Conference Finals, when the Suns made the finals, Ayton averaged, I think, like 18 points, 13 boards, and I want to say 2 or 3 blocks in that series, and was just really an instrumental part in getting that Suns teams to the finals when he was only, again, 21 or 22 years old. So big DeAndre Ayton fan. I want it more than anything else. My number one hope for the Pistons this offseason is that they can somehow sign DeAndre Ayton. A sign and trade is a little bit less exciting because then you're giving up some of the pieces that I still like, but I'll do whatever it takes really to get Ayton on this team.
So funny to me how far we have gotten in how basketball has changed. This is one of the premier centers in the game, offensively and defensively. He is a traditional center. Yeah, he can shoot a 3 once in a while for you, but he's a traditional center for the most part. And every team in the NBA should be clamoring for this guy's services. And we got fans saying, no, don't bring that. We don't want that here. I think you guys are out of your mind. I'm obviously biased. He went to University of Arizona. I went to University of Arizona. I enjoyed his 1 year there. Bought and paid for by Sean Miller, most likely. No, I'm just kidding. I would absolutely love this. I think we're dreaming if it's just a sign, because then Phoenix is getting nothing for this, and I don't know how they just let him go for nothing. So I think a sign and trade is probably what's going to end up happening if we are the team, picking up his 5th-year option, and allows the sign and trade to happen, and then we get his services for this team. Aaron DeAndre Ayton, talking about a guy that has the absolute ability to give you 20 points, to pull down 12 to 15 rebounds, get a few blocks as well. I don't know why you wouldn't want that. But Ryan, let me ask you a question. Pistons point, for those that don't know, why is this not just the second coming of Andre Drummond?
Okay, that's definitely not fair. I think Ayton can do way more. Andre Drummond can do, and I think he's already, proven it. I think he probably has a better attitude than Drummond does, and I know he's probably going to get a ton of crap for not wanting to play with the Suns or being mad that the Suns didn't give him a contract or whatever. But he made one comment about it at the beginning of the year, and then he played the entire year without a contract, and then people were mad that he didn't want to go back into a game. They were losing by 30 points when he game 7, mind you. So it was not another game after it, a game where the Suns were, again, losing by, I don't know if it was 28, 30, whatever it was, right? The Suns were down by about 30 points. DeAndre Ayton says, no, I don't want to go back in the game. He's got potentially $100+ million on the line this offseason. No, you don't want to go in the game because you're not going to win, and there's not going to be like a next game either. So you're losing, your season's over, you're going to lose. It doesn't make sense to risk literally like your entire future and your entire family's future to go back in. And really the only thing that can happen is you get hurt. And then maybe Twitter's a little bit nicer to you than they are now that you said, and now I don't want to go back into that game. But I think Ayton has a much higher ceiling than what Andre Drummond did. He is a better free throw shooter than Drummond and has got more range what Drummond had too. Ayton's a guy who for his career shooting 75% from the line. And if Drummond shot 75% from the line, I think all Pistons fans would probably have a bit of a different viewpoint of him. Drummond's a better rebounder. I think Ayton is a better defender in this point in his career than Drummond was. just 3 years in or whatever it is, 3, 4 years in, than what Drummond was. Although Drummond towards the end of his time with the Pistons was actually a pretty good defender. But if you can get that with Ayton, you can get it now. And again, the problem wasn't just Drummond himself specifically, but that's not a guy that you're ever going to win with as your best player. But you're not asking DeAndre Ayton to come in and be your best player. You're asking him to come in and be your number 2 behind Kate Cunningham. And if by miracle happens, but you're number 3 behind Sadiq or whoever you pick at number 5.
Man on a mission, I'ma get it. You know I be on a what? Yeah. You know I be on a what?